Are you wondering how to get your child to write an essay a day? You know that that's part of the Robinson curriculum, writing every day, writing an essay, but you're wondering, how do I make the transition from copy work or narration? And how do I teach them to write an essay properly? For all those answers and more, stay tuned. Hi everybody, this is Karen. Welcome back to our channel called Our House, and this video is going to focus specifically on how to get a child to write an essay. What does that process look like? What's on the Robinson curriculum website? And I'm going to give you some of my favorite recommendations if you need additional help. So looking around on the Robinson curriculum website, there is one page, and I will link it in the description below, that talks a little bit more about this topic. And it looks like they recommend this book called Learning Essay Writing by Marvin Aker, Rod and Staff. And I've showed this video in the past before, I think on a homeschool dupe video, and it's just a little kind of pamphlet style book. It's very short, very small. It just teaches you everything that you need to know to teach a child how to write an essay. And I will try to find a link for that and put that in the description as well. It fits perfectly in a kid's notebook. It's really nice and compact and small, and it just goes over the highlights. So basically there are 4 kinds of writing to make it easy: exposition, argumentative, description, and narration. And children do best typically with the last 2, description and narration. So obviously description, they're describing something, their best friend, their favorite vacation spot, their favorite hobby. And then as far as narration, the more stories they read, the better their stories, their essays are going to become. So the more they read on that Robinson list, the better their writing will get. The main reason why that is because you just learn what sounds good. The more you read, you identify, you can, when you're writing something, does this sound good? Does this tense make sense? And so the more you read, the better you will be with that. So what I recommend, and the way I have always done it, is to just start with very simple copy work. And there are so many great sources where you can get this copy work. The McGuffey readers that's on the RC list is a popular one. I have other places. You could do the Bible as well. Just anything that you want them to copy, just a sentence or 2 to start off with. And then you can move on maybe to a little bit narration, where you just dictate a sentence and they write it down, or just keep going with the copy work. So after they do a lot of copy work and they're ready to take that next step, now what? How do you teach them to write an essay? I got this information from the RC website. Again, I'll link that page below so you can read it yourself. And it's really easy. You're just teaching them this, step process. And step 1 is getting started. You just ask them, all right, you ready to write your own stuff? What do you want to write about? And you can go through the different kind of essays. Do you just want to write about your best friend? Whatever, just ask them, what do you want to write about? Then you want to help them narrow it down. Narrow down the topic. That's step 2. So if they say, I want to talk about my favorite books, then you can narrow it down a little bit. Do you want to talk about your favorite nonfiction books, your favorite fiction books, a favorite series that you like? Do you just want to focus on the Dottie Dimple books? Then you want to teach your child how to write an outline, how to just organize their ideas. Do you want to first write about why this is your favorite food, what restaurant prepares your favorite food the best, and what are the ingredients that go into your favorite food? And then we can kind of put them in an order that makes sense. So then you want to teach them the outline process. If you're talking about your favorite food, which one would make sense to come first? Your favorite place to eat it, or what ingredients are in your favorite food? And then you can kind of, show them how to map it out, how to organize it, what comes first, second, third, 3 main ideas. So then you would just go over that with them. And then the next step, step 5, is to write an introduction. Usually this is what gets left off the most. Kids just kind of dive right into it. And so even if it's just a very basic introduction, my best friend's name is, my favorite food is, even if it's just very simple, very basic, it gets the point across, and you're just trying to teach them to introduce their writing. Then the next step is the body. So then this is where you teach them that the next 3 points, those 3 points that you organized, that you brainstormed, that you're going to talk about those. And then step 7 is to write the conclusion, just a little wrap-up summary. And again, the conclusion can be very simple, like babies are a lot of fun, or these are my favorite books. I hope these books will be popular 100 years from now. Just very simple, basic sentences. And step 8, teach them to reread their essay. And this is where you really want them to, self-edit. Does this sound good? Focusing more on, does this sound good versus, did I get all the rules right? Just focus on sounding good first, and then you can work on everything else. And then step 9, that's the part where you come in. They're gonna give you the essay and you look at it. You give them a mix of, praise and encouragement, as well as corrections. You could write it down on the spelling, the correct spelling on top of the word. This is why you really want them to do double space, so you have space to actually write the correct spelling, commas, punctuation, whatever it may be. And then you give it back to them and they will rewrite their essay. And that's it. So how do you go from copy work to writing an essay? Well, do a little bit more copy work. Don't go from just a couple sentences to a full essay. That is going to be too much. Make them do a paragraph or a page back and forth, double spaced, of copy work. And then they're ready. They'll come to you, they're ready to write their own ideas. And that's when you can start with, okay, what do you want to write about? Let's just focus on a topic. And then you narrow the topic down, and then you help them with the outline and then the basic 3 ideas. So it's up to your child at what age they're ready for this process. Maybe you just have to go through that step process with them a few times before they understand it and they can do it on their own. Maybe it's too overwhelming for them, then just okay. Just focus on the body. One idea from the body. Maybe you can just help them brainstorm and come up with a couple ideas, and then they just create one paragraph of the body. And you can correct it, give them feedback, give it back to them. Then the next day, the next week, after doing that for a while, you focus on 2 points of the body, and then 3 points of the body. And then you add the introduction and the conclusion, and then you get a little bit more, and then you focus more on the outline, the organizing, the editing process. But you just want to encourage them to do the writing first. Get them writing, even if it's just 1 point in the body, 2 points in the body, 3 points in the body. That's great. Just get them writing, and then they'll be able to do better, do more, the introduction, the conclusion. That's my recommendation. If it seems too hard for them to go from copy work to a full 5-point essay, then just start with the body. Like I said, then just start with 1 point, then 2 points, then 3 points, then add the introduction, then add the conclusion, then get a little bit more rigorous about the editing process, and then get a little bit more specific with the organizing of the topic, narrowing it down, doing an outline, and organizing it. Okay, so those were just my suggestions, my tips. If you find that you need a little bit more than this video has to offer, or what is on the Robinson Curriculum website that I will link below, then there are other places that you can look, and I have other recommendations. Number 1 is to look at the Robinson Curriculum group on Facebook. You can search for writing, you can search for essays, and there are a lot of files that parents have created. There's a lot of tips, a lot of resources, what has worked for other families. There's 3 things that I really recommend. Number 1 is the book mentioned in the Robinson Curriculum website, which is Learning Essay Writing by Marvin Aker from Rod and Stapp. Again, this book, I think it's less than $4. I forget how much it is, but it is very inexpensive. It's a little booklet. It will go over the 4 types of writing. It will go over kind of the same steps that I talked about here. And it's a great refresher. You can put it in the kids' notebook. You can read it with them. Very easy, very affordable. Number 2 is a book that I've mentioned before too. It's called Elements of Style. This book has been around for a very long time. Again, it's a little book, but it really talks more. I think this is more for maybe older students, kind of developing your writing style and the basics. And again, a very affordable book. So I recommend that book. That's the only book that I use and read for trying to help myself with writing, is this book, The Elements of Style. And number 3, another resource from a former Robinson curriculum dad himself. He has 5 children that went through the program, graduated, doing excellent, doing great. And he has a writing course, Dr. Fred Ray Librand. He has the Independent Homeschool website, and he has several courses, and one of them, very popular, is the writing course, because it just goes so well. Obviously, since he was a former RC parent, it just goes so well with the Robinson curriculum. And so I do recommend that. It's different because it's not so much just teaching you about the rules and this and that and how to get the perfect essay. It's really about helping your child like writing and how to encourage them and how to give them feedback and how to change that narrative in their mind of, oh, I hate writing, I hate doing this every day. Changing it to, I'm gonna do, a good job, and my parents are gonna help me make this even better. And it just really helps to change the mindset and gives you great ideas, gives you a lot of inspiration. It has the 12 truths of writing. I think that's what it's called. I hope I'm not messing that up. But the 12 secrets of writing, that's what it is. And it's very unique. I've never seen that anywhere else. So I encourage you to check that out as well. I will put a link to all of this in the description below. And I've done a couple other videos on this topic. One is a couple years old, I think, and one more recently. It was part of a day in the life. I will link those 2 in the description below. But I tried to dive into it a little bit more in this video. So hopefully it was helpful to you. Please like it if you liked it. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. And just comment below, leave me a message. How do you teach your child to write an essay? Do you have a different process, a method, something that you'd like to share? Let us know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, and let me know if you have any other questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.